Hey, come sit with me for a minute. I want to talk about something that happens to so many English learners. Something quiet. Something that happens inside your head. Nobody else can see it, but you feel it every single time you try to speak. You want to say something in English, and before the words come out, your brain starts working, translating. First, you think the sentence in your own language. Then you try to change it into English, word by word. And by the time you finish translating, the conversation has already moved on. Or you just freeze and say nothing at all. Does this sound like you? If it does, I want you to know something right now. This is not because your English is bad. This is not because you are slow. This happens because of how you learn to use English in your mind. And the good news, this can change. It really can. I have seen this so many times with my students, smart people. People who know grammar rules better than some native speakers. People who can write a beautiful paragraph if you give them time. But put them in a real conversation, and their mind goes quiet because they are still translating instead of speaking. Here's something I want you to understand today. Fluency is not about knowing more words. It is not about knowing more grammar. Fluency is about speed. The speed between a thought and a sound coming out of your mouth. And that speed only grows in one way. Not by thinking more, but by thinking less and speaking more. Today, I am going to give you 3 lessons. 3 real shifts that helped my students go from freezing up to actually speaking. Not perfect English, real English, natural English, the kind that flows. Stay with me until the end, because lesson 3 gives you a simple daily habit. And this habit alone can change how you speak in just a few weeks. Let's begin. Let me tell you about a student of mine named Daniel. Daniel was very smart. He studied English grammar deeply. He could explain the difference between the present perfect and the past simple better than most teachers. But when we had a conversation, he paused constantly. Long silences. I could see his eyes moving, like he was searching for something in his mind. One day I asked him, "Daniel, what are you doing in your head right now before you answer me?" He said, "I am thinking of the sentence in my language first, then I change each word into English." And there it was. The real problem. This is what almost every struggling speaker does. They think in their own language. Then they try to build a bridge word by word into English. But this bridge is slow. It is heavy. And it breaks under pressure, especially in a real conversation where people don't wait for you. Here's what I want you to understand. Fluent speakers don't translate. They think directly in English, not in full grammar sentences, but in small pictures, small ideas, simple chunks. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine you want to say, "I am going to the store to buy some bread." A translator's brain builds this word by word, slowly, but a fluent brain doesn't do this. A fluent brain sees a picture. You, walking, store, bread. And the sentence just comes out naturally, because you are not building a sentence, you are describing a picture you already see in your mind. This might sound strange at first, but it is how children learn language, and it is how you can train your brain too. So here's what we did with Daniel. Instead of translating full sentences, I asked him to describe simple pictures using very short phrases. I showed him a photo, a woman drinking coffee in a park. I said, "Don't build a perfect sentence, just say what you see." "Quickly," he said. Woman, coffee, park, sitting, relaxing. Then I asked him to slowly connect these into a natural sentence. A woman is drinking coffee in the park. We did this again and again, with different pictures, different situations. And after a few weeks, something changed. Daniel stopped searching for translations. He started seeing English directly. not through his own language, but on its own. Here is something practical for you to try today. Look around the room you are in right now. Choose 3 things you can see. Don't think about grammar. Just say simple words about them in English. Out loud. A chair, blue. Old. A window, open. Morning light. Then slowly build these words into a full sentence. The chair is old and blue. The window is open and morning light is coming in. Do this for 2 minutes every day. With things around you, with people you see, with your own daily activities, your brain will slowly stop translating and start seeing directly in English. This is lesson 1. Stop building sentences word by word from your own language. Start seeing small pictures in English and describe what you see. Now let's talk about something deeper, something emotional. Many learners have a rule inside their head, a silent rule. It says something like this: if I cannot say it correctly, I should not say it at all. This rule feels responsible. It feels careful, but honestly, it is one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck for years. Let me tell you about a student named Fatima. She had good vocabulary. She understood grammar well on paper, but in speaking class, she barely spoke. When I asked her why, she said something that stayed with me for a long time. She said, "I would rather say nothing than say it wrong." I understood her. I really did. Nobody wants to sound silly. Nobody wants to make mistakes in front of other people. This fear is human. It is not weakness. It is just fear protecting you the way it always has. But here is the truth I had to gently share with her. A sentence with mistakes that comes out of your mouth is doing something powerful. It is training your brain. It is training your tongue. It is building the muscle of speaking. A perfect sentence that stays silent inside your head does nothing. It teaches your brain nothing. It only feeds the fear a little more. Think about it like this. Imagine someone who wants to get stronger, but they never lift the weight. They just think about lifting it. Perfectly, in their mind. Do their muscles grow? No, muscles grow through real movement, even awkward movement at first. Speaking works exactly the same way. So here's what we did with Fatima. I gave her a new rule to replace the old one. The new rule was simple. Say it even if it feels wrong. Fix it after, not before. At first, this felt uncomfortable for her. Of course it did. But we practiced small exercises together. I would ask her a simple question, like, "What did you do this morning?" And instead of waiting to build the perfect answer in her head, I asked her to just start talking immediately, even if she made mistakes in the middle. She said something like, "I wake up, I make coffee, and I go, I went to work by bus. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it was hers." Over the weeks, something beautiful happened. The more she allowed herself to speak imperfectly, the faster her real fluency grew, because her brain finally had real practice. Not silent practice, real spoken practice. Here's something important to understand psychologically. Every time you stay silent because you are scared of mistakes, your brain learns a lesson. It learns that speaking is dangerous. So next time, it becomes even more careful, even more frozen. But every time you speak, even with mistakes, your brain learns something completely different. It learns that speaking is safe, even when it's not perfect, and slowly, the fear becomes smaller and your voice becomes stronger. So here is your practice for this lesson. Choose one simple question today. Something like, "What did you eat today?" Or, "What is your plan for tomorrow?" Don't think about the perfect grammar first. Just start talking out loud. Let some mistakes happen. Let your sentence be a little messy. And notice something. The world did not end. Nothing bad happened. You just spoke English, and that is already a win. This is lesson 2. Give yourself permission to speak with mistakes. A broken sentence spoken out loud is more valuable than a perfect sentence that never leaves your mind. Now let's talk about the final piece. And this is the piece that brings everything together. Understanding these ideas is wonderful, but understanding alone does not create change. Only practice does that, and not big dramatic practice. Small daily practice, done consistently. Let me tell you about a student named Youssef. He wanted to become fluent for his job. He needed to speak with international clients, but he only practiced speaking once a week. In our class together. The rest of the week, he read, he studied grammar, he watched videos, but he never actually opened his mouth and spoke. I asked him one day, Youssef, between our classes, how many minutes do you spend actually speaking English out loud? Not reading, not listening, speaking. He thought about it, and he said honestly, almost 0. This was the missing piece. Not his intelligence, not his vocabulary. Just simple daily speaking practice. So we built something together, a very small habit. Something so simple it almost felt too easy. But it worked. Here is the habit. Every single day, for just 5 minutes, Youssef would talk to himself out loud in English about his day. Not writing it first, not planning it perfectly. Just talking like a voice diary. He would say things like, today was a normal day. I woke up late because my alarm didn't ring. I was a little stressed at work, but it's okay now. Tomorrow I have a meeting and I feel a little nervous about it. Simple sentences, real topics, his actual life. Spoken out loud. At first it felt strange to him. Talking to himself. But after just 2 weeks, something shifted. He told me, I don't search for words as much anymore, they just come out. This is exactly what happens when you build this habit. You are not just learning English anymore, you are training your mouth to move, your breath to support your sentences, your brain to connect thoughts and sounds quickly. This only happens through repetition. Real repetition, spoken out loud. Here is the simple routine I want you to start today. Every day, at the same time if possible. Maybe right after breakfast or right before bed. Take out your phone, open the voice recorder, and talk for 5 minutes about your day, your feelings, your plans. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't even need to make complete sense. Just keep talking if you don't know a word. Describe it in a different way instead of stopping. You can also add a small extra step if you want faster progress. Shadow a short native speaker clip first for 2 minutes. Copy their rhythm and pronunciation. Then switch to talking about your own life for the remaining 3 minutes. This combination trains both your listening ear and your natural speaking voice together. 5 minutes, every day. That is all this takes. Not hours, not complicated lessons. Just 5 honest minutes of your own voice speaking English about your own real life. This is lesson 3. Build a small daily habit of speaking out loud about your real life. This is what finally connects your thinking brain to your speaking mouth. Let's look back at everything we talked about today. First, stop translating word by word from your own language. Start seeing small pictures in English and describing what you see directly. Second, give yourself permission to speak with mistakes. A broken sentence spoken out loud teaches your brain far more than a perfect sentence that stays silent inside you. Third, build a daily 5-minute habit of speaking about your own real life. Out loud, consistently. This is what finally trains your mouth and your confidence together. I want you to really hear this next part. Natural English speaking does not come from one big breakthrough moment. It does not come from finding the perfect course or the perfect app. It comes from small, brave moments, repeated again and again, especially on the days when it feels uncomfortable. Every fluent speaker you have ever admired, they were once exactly where you are right now, searching for words, feeling nervous, making mistakes. The only difference between them and where you are today is time and repetition and the courage to keep speaking anyway. So I want to ask you something right now, not next week, not when you feel ready, because that feeling of being ready, it might never come on its own. You create it by speaking first. Can you give me 5 minutes today? Just 5 minutes. Talk about your day out loud, messy sentences and all. I believe you can do this. I have watched so many students go from silence to real conversations, not because they became perfect, but because they kept showing up. One small 5-minute practice at a time. You can do this too. Starting today, if this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. In the next video, I want to show you the exact phrases that help you keep a conversation going naturally, even when your mind goes blank for a second. Simple phrases that buy you time and keep you speaking with confidence. I'll see you there. Take care of yourself and keep speaking, even if it feels messy today.